तो इस्लाम को खंगालने की कोशिश बहुत सारे लोगों ने की, बहुत सारे साइंटिस्ट ने की। उन्होंने कुरान के सीक्रेट्स को जानने की कोशिश की, कुरान के मिरेकल्स को जानने की कोशिश की। उसी तरह काबा की हिस्ट्री जानने की कोशिश की, जमजम के पानी की हिस्ट्री, काबा में लगे ब्लैक स्टोन की हिस्ट्री भी जानने की कोशिश की। जी हाँ, आपने सही गेस करा। आज की हमारी वीडियो होने वाली है 8 साइंटिस्ट ने जब उस ब्लैक स्टोन के बारे में रिसर्च करा तो आप शॉक हो जाएंगे। ऐसा ये वीडियो कहता है। क्या रिसर्च करी, क्या उन्होंने वाकई सब कुछ जान लिया या अभी भी कुछ बातों से अनजान है, वो तो इस वीडियो को देखने के बाद ही पता चलेगा कि क्या ये वीडियो एक्चुअली सच में स्टेट करता है जो ये बोलता है। तो इट सेज 8 साइंटिस्ट हैव रिसर्च द ब्लैक स्टोन एंड वेयर हैविंग शॉकिंग रिवीलेशंस। लेट्स सी दिस।
Friends of Islam, this time Islamic circles are back in front of you to share Islamic information, hopefully inspiring your activities today. And don't forget to click the subscribe button and activate the bell button notification, so as not to miss the latest news from the Islamic Circles channel. Hajar-Aswad is a sacred stone located in the eastern corner of the cube-shaped building known as the Kaaba. The stone has a long history and is an object of admiration for scholars around the world. The Hajar-Aswad stone has also invited debate and speculation about its origins for centuries. Secular historians claim that the Hajar-Aswad is a stone that fell from outer space. Meanwhile, many geologists around the world have tried to study the type and nature of this stone in an attempt to find out more about the scientific nature of Hajar-Aswad. Some of the world's leading researchers have also conducted in-depth studies to research the origin of the Hajar-Aswad stone. Well, in this video, we will explore the scientific studies that researchers have conducted in search of answers about the mysterious origins of this stone, so that we can gain a deeper understanding of this phenomenon, as the Hajar-Aswad stone continues to be a mystery to this day. Here's the video. Hajar-Aswad has a rich history and myths, making it a very important stone in the development of Islam, from the time of Prophet Abraham to the time of Prophet Muhammad. Hajar-Aswad is believed to be a stone from heaven that was brought by Prophet Adam when he descended to earth. Over time, the Hajar-Aswad stone deteriorated and was broken into several pieces in medieval times. However, the pieces of the black stone were later put back together and inserted into a silver frame fastened to a stone. Historically, the Hajar-Aswad stone has undergone color changes. According to a hadith of the Prophet Muhammad, he said, "A black stone came down from heaven, and it was whiter than milk, but the sins of the sons of Adam turned it black." In this understanding, the black color of Hajar-Aswad is believed to be a reflection of the sins of mankind. The government of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia has even released a 49,000 megapixel high-resolution photograph of the Hajar-Aswad. This photo allows anyone to clearly see every detail of this sacred stone. Inside the Grand Mosque, there are 8 clusters of Hajar-Aswad, which are attached to a larger stone and framed by silver. But there are also other fragments of Hajar-Aswad claimed to be in Istanbul, Turkey. One of them is in the Süleymaniye Grand Mosque. In addition to these 2 places, it turns out that other fragments of Hajar-Aswad are in one of the museums in England. Why are the fragments of Hajar-Aswad in England? Here are the facts. The process of taking the chunks began when some scientists read the news about the virtues and wonders of the Hajar-Aswad stone. In the UK, there are 3 fragments of Hajar-Aswad, which are kept for research purposes. As a very special stone and sacred to Muslims, the Hajar-Aswad stone has always attracted public interest, especially researchers in the field of geology. Over time, various experts have conducted research to seek a deeper understanding of the physical characteristics of the Hajar-Aswad stone. They also wanted to understand the geological processes that may have been involved in the formation of this stone. Of course, among researchers, there are many different views and opinions about Hajar-Aswad. One of the researchers, Richard Burton, finally pronounced the creed after doing extensive research on the stone. In the research on the origin of the Hajar-Aswad stone, one of the hypotheses proposed was that the stone came from a meteorite. This view is based on a catalog of meteorites compiled by G.T. Pryor, who categorized the Hajar-Aswad stone as an aerolite or siderite, a type of meteorite rich in iron and silicates. Pryor argues that the Hajar-Aswad stone is an aerolite meteorite, a meteorite that is more like an ordinary stone and is not dominated by iron and nickel, as is the case with meteorites that we commonly know. Anthony Hampton and a team of geologists from the University of Oxford also studied the local chili sauce collected from where the Hajar-Aswad stone is located. They found rare amounts of iridium and cone fragments in the samples. The rare geological find, which is known to have formed in the bedrock beneath a meteorite impact crater, was discovered by Paul Parch, a curator of mineral stones during the Austrian-Hungarian Empire, who published the first comprehensive report on black stone in 1857, in which he suspected that the Hajar-Aswad stone was a fragment of a meteorite that fragmented about 6,000 years ago. However, this hypothesis has been the subject of tremendous debate, as there are discoveries that state that the Hajar-Aswad stone has the property of floating in water. This is contrary to the characteristics of meteorites in general, which have a high density, so they will sink if put into water. In 950, the governor of Mecca, Abdullah ibn Hakim, tested the stones suspected to be the Hajar-Aswad stones, stolen by the Ismailiyya Karamitha sect 22 years earlier, and found that they could indeed float in water. This finding shattered the view that Hajar-Aswad was a meteorite. In addition, all scientists have not found meteorite rocks with the same characteristics as the Hajar-Aswad stone, so this stone cannot be definitely attributed to a meteorite. Nonetheless, this hypothesis remains one of the viewpoints in the research on the Hajar-Aswad stone. And researchers continue to study the properties and characteristics of the stone to gain a clearer understanding of its origin. Another hypothesis that has been proposed in research on the origin of the Hajar-Aswad stone is that it is a volcanic rock, specifically pumice. These rocks are formed from volcanic eruptions that produce magma with a composition rich in silicon, CO2, or acid igneous rocks. Acid igneous rocks are generally light or bright in color as opposed to dark, wet igneous rocks. A study conducted by the United States Geological Survey said Hajar-Aswad is probably obsidian from a lava flow common in one of the Harit or volcanic fields, found on the western Arabian coast. Meanwhile, researchers Robert S. Dietz and John McCone from the Department of Geology at the University of Illinois in the United States said Hajar-Aswad is not derived from meteorite rock, but is a ringstone, which is one of the minerals formed in the earth. He said, diffusion bands and other physical appearances indicate that it is agate. In this context, some scientists note that the Hajar-Aswad stone has similarities with pumice. Pumice rock generally has a light or bright color and is mostly composed of pores that result in a very low density, less than 1 gram per cc. This phenomenon is in line with reports that the Hajar-Aswad stone can float in water. Pumice stones are generally formed in violent explosive eruptions, with an eruption scale equal to or greater than 5 volts, one of the characteristics of which is to produce a caldera. Such volcanoes are common in Indonesia, so it is not surprising that pumice appeared in the 1883 Krakatau eruption or the 1815 Tambora eruption. However, there are challenges in attributing the Hajar-Aswad to pumice in the context of the geology of the Arabian Peninsula. Volcanism in the area generally produces wet igneous rocks, not acidic igneous rocks that produce pumice. Volcanoes in the Arabian Peninsula fall under the category of basaltic volcanoes, which produce dilute basaltic magma and tend to form wide volcanoes with low conical peaks. In this context, it is difficult to find a connection between the Hajar-Aswad stone and the volcanic rocks of the Arabian Peninsula. although calderas are found in some areas, such as Jebel Salma. These calderas were formed about 580 million years ago, and they are too old to have produced pumice. Thus, the possibility that the 𝐄𝐦𝐚𝐢𝐥 stone is a ring stone, or even a volcanic rock, becomes less supportive in this study. Volcanism in the Arabian Peninsula did not produce significant pumice, and there is no evidence to support the existence of explosive eruptions on a scale large enough to form pumice like the 𝐄𝐦𝐚𝐢𝐥 stone. Therefore, although the volcanic rock hypothesis has been proposed to link 𝐄𝐦𝐚𝐢𝐥 to pumice in the geological context of the Arabian Peninsula, it is still difficult to confirm. Further research is needed to better understand the origin and physical characteristics of this sacred stone. Some scientists say it is the oldest rock in the world, although it is not known exactly how old it is. In general, scientists can determine the age of rocks through carbonization and lead techniques for fossils, the age of the subsoil, and other related matters. But in fact, there is no parameter that can explain how old the 𝐄𝐦𝐚𝐢𝐥 stone is. Another fact is that no one has ever found a rock like the 𝐄𝐦𝐚𝐢𝐥 stone, so it can be concluded that this rock is not from the Earth, but also not a fragment of a meteor rock. This is because its density is very different from that of any other rock in the universe. In an effort to find a better answer about the origin of the 𝐄𝐦𝐚𝐢𝐥 stone, another hypothesis emerged, stating that this rock may be a type of impactite. Impactite is a rock formed by the collision of celestial bodies at very high speeds and with enormous energy. A Swedish geologist and paleontologist named Elisabeth Thomsen from the University of Copenhagen expressed her views on 𝐄𝐦𝐚𝐢𝐥. Thomsen emphatically stated that 𝐄𝐦𝐚𝐢𝐥 is not a meteorite, but an impactite. On the mainland of Saudi Arabia, the product of the impact, more commonly called impactite, can be found at the location of a Wobar meteor crater, about 550 kilometers southeast of the city of Riyadh. He explained, the Wobar structure, where rocks similar to 𝐄𝐦𝐚𝐢𝐥 are found, generally consists of white glass blocks containing silicon. Some parts even have blackish sheets. Thomsen's theory is quite interesting, as it matches the description in a hadith that describes 𝐄𝐻 as a stone whiter than milk. The impactite has a hollow structure, which can cause gas to be trapped inside the rock, allowing it to float in water. This is consistent with experiments showing the floating properties of the 𝐄𝐻 stone. However, upon further analysis, Thomsen's hypothesis was disproved by the finding that the Wobar structure was formed in 1704, just a few centuries ago. This is much younger than the mass construction of the Kaaba, which took place about 40 centuries ago. Therefore, it is difficult to associate 𝐄𝐻 with the Wobar structure. It can thus be concluded that the 𝐄𝐻 stone is neither a meteorite, nor a volcanic stone, nor an impactite. Although several studies have been conducted, the mystery of the origin of 𝐄𝐻 still remains an interesting topic of research. However, what is clear is that 𝐄𝐻 is a stone that has sacred value in Islam. Prophet Muhammad himself honored the stone by kissing it. This shows how important it is to respect the religious values represented by the 𝐄𝐻 stone. In the confusion and uncertainty of science, it is very important for Muslims to maintain the honor and privilege of the 𝐄𝐻 stone. 𝐄𝐻 remains a symbol of piety, purity, and obedience in the spiritual journey of Muslims. Hopefully, this video can be useful for all of us.
राइट सो इससे हमें पता चलता है एक्चुअली तो मतलब वो स्टोन मुझे नहीं पता था बट वो काबा में ही एक कॉर्नर में वो ऑलरेडी फिक्स्ड है और उसके किनारे किनारे सिल्वर आउटलाइन कर दी गई है एंड उसकी भी बड़ी पूजते हैं यानी उससे भी लोग दुआएं लेते हैं उसको भी लोग उस पे भी लोग माथा टेकते हैं तो एक्चुअली कुछ और है इसके पीछे ये आप लोग डेफिनेटली मुझे हेल्प कर सकते हैं जानने में कि ऐसा क्यों करते हैं या कोई और दुआ पढ़ी जाती है वहां पे जिसे आप लोग मानते हैं कि वो पूरा होता है। अगर किसी को भी पता है तो आप मुझे बता दीजिए। बट जैसे हमने देखा कि साइंटिस्ट जो रिसर्च करना चाह रहे थे कि ये वॉल्केनिक रॉक है, कुछ प्रॉपर्टीज इसकी मेटेराइट से मैच हुई हैं जैसे कि फ्लोट करना वाटर पे, मगर फिर भी फाइनली ये पता नहीं चल पाया है कि वो पत्थर एक्चुअली आया कहाँ से, उस ब्लैक स्टोन का राज एक राज ही है। तो ऐसा कभी कभी होता है कि साइंटिस्ट आई एम श्योर हर चीज नहीं पता लगा सकते हैं, कुछ चीजें अभी भी इस दुनिया में मिस्ट्री हैं और वहां तक पहुंचना मुमकिन ही नहीं, नामुमकिन है। और इसीलिए शायद जो हमारा बिलीफ है, हमारे रिलीजन है, वहां पे पिक्चर में आ जाते हैं, क्योंकि जिनके बारे में कोई पता नहीं कर पाया और आज तक वो एक मिस्ट्री है और उनको जानना इम्पॉसिबल हो चुका है। सो आई थिंक ये वीडियो देख के वो क्लियर हो गई हैं चीजें दैट अभी तक, और इतने सारे साइंटिस्ट आए, इतनी सारी गवर्नमेंट्स आई, मगर कोई भी उसको पता नहीं कर पाया। एंड फाइनली वो हमने इमेज देखी, जिस तरीके से वो हाई रेजोल्यूशन की इमेज थी, 46,000 मेगापिक्सल की इमेज। इट वॉज सच ब्यूटिफुल टू वॉच दिस। और इस तरीके की इंफॉर्मेटिव वीडियो मैंने पहली बार देखी है। मुझे पता चला कि ऐसा भी कुछ है काबा में, ये मुझे नहीं पता था अभी तक। लेकिन मुझे बस ये जानना है कि उस ब्लैक स्टोन में आप लोग ऐसी कोई दुआ पढ़ते हैं, ये ऐसा क्या होता है जिसे, क्योंकि मैंने देखा है लोग अक्सर आके वहां माथा टेकते हैं, तो आई एम श्योर उसे पूजते हैं, उसकी पूजा होती है। लेकिन क्या कोई और दुआ, कोई और मान्यता भी है जो हज के दौरान करी जाती है, जब आप काबा के चक्कर काट रहे होते हैं तब लोग उस पे आके अपना माथा लगाते हैं? ऐसा क्यों होता है? मुझे प्लीज इसमें हेल्प कर दीजिएगा। बहुत मजेदार वीडियो थी, बहुत मजा आया देख के, काफी इन्फॉर्मेटिव भी थी। उम्मीद करती हूँ जितना मुझे मजा आया उतना आपको भी मजा आया होगा। मैं मिलती हूँ आपसे अगली इंटरेस्टिंग वीडियो के साथ, तब तक के लिए जय हिंद, नमस्ते, सत श्री अकाल, बाय बाय।